Okay, let's just jump right into this. Not too long ago, I went fishing off the beautiful, sun-drenched coast of Colombo. I throw on a standard, super comfortable cotton t-shirt, thinking I'd be absolutely fine. Well, fast forward a few hours, and I was looking like a freshly boiled lobster, nursing this horrific, incredibly painful sunburn. My friend Coriander, who actually happens to be an expert in textile engineering, took one look at my glowing red shoulders, sighed heavily, and delivered a harsh reality check. He told me that cotton is absolutely useless against UV rays the second it gets wet with sweat. So welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to demystify all that marketing jargon surrounding performance apparel and break down the actual microscopic textile science that keeps you safe and, most importantly, cool.
We all invest pretty heavily in performance gear for our outdoor adventures, right? But it's time to ask ourselves a serious question. Is your cooling shirt actually cooling you, or is it just a cheap chemical trick? You know the feeling. We've all felt that brisk tingle when you first pull on a fresh athletic shirt. But we really need to figure out if that initial chill is true, sustained temperature regulation, or just a temporary illusion. You know, a surface chemical treatment that's literally just going to wash right out the very next time you do laundry. And that brings us to the absolute most important number in outdoor apparel, 50. Coriander broke this down for me, and it honestly blew my mind. A normal, wet cotton tee has a dangerously low UPF rating of less than 5. That means it is letting a massive 20% of UV rays blast right through the fabric and onto your skin. Even a standard dry white cotton t-shirt isn't much better, sitting at a UPF of about 7. To actually be protected out there, a true performance garment needs a UPF of 50 to successfully block 98% of those harmful UV rays. So here's our mental roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start by looking at the physics of UPF protection, then move into exactly how moisture wicking works. After that, we'll decode some advanced cooling technologies, uncover the iCool textile breakthrough, and finish up by looking at the actual lifespan of your performance gear. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the physics of UPF protection. So the crucial point here is that UPF, or ultraviolet protection factor, measures how effectively a fabric physically blocks radiation. Now, unlike SPF in your everyday sunscreen, which relies on chemical absorption on top of your skin, UPF relies on weave density and the actual fiber types. Synthetic fibers, like polyester for example, have a naturally dense polymer structure. When they're woven tightly together, they act as a mechanical, physical barrier against both UVA and UVB rays. You are quite literally putting a woven shield over your body. But here's the thing. True UPF 50+ claims must be verified. You can't just slap a fancy label on a shirt and claim it blocks the sun. It requires rigorous, third-party laboratory standards. These labs use highly specific protocols, like the American AATC 183 or the European EN 1375, to test UV transmittance. And the best part about these tests? They actually test the fabric after it has been stretched out, soaked in water, and laundered 40 times. This ensures that the protection actually holds up out in the real world, not just fresh out of the box.
Moving right along to Section 2, how moisture wicking works.
If you've ever worn cheap fabric in the extreme heat, you absolutely know that awful wet stick feeling. You know, where the wet fabric clings to you like a gross plastic bag? Well, advanced moisture wicking prevents this entirely. Through capillary action, which is honestly just like a plant drinking water from its roots, these fabrics use specially engineered cross-section yarn fibers to mechanically pull moisture away from your skin. It transports the sweat, spreads it across a wide surface area on the outside of the shirt, and basically forces rapid evaporation. Now let's compare two heavyweights in this space, polyester and nylon. While nylon does offer slightly better abrasion resistance, say if you're scraping against rocks all day, synthetic polyester microfibers are the undeniable kings of moisture management. Polyester actually dries 25 to 30% faster than nylon. Plus, it maintains superior UV stability over time right down at the molecular level. Coriander told me something else really important right after my terrible Colombo sunburn. He said stop relying on sticky sunscreens that just wash off the second you hit salt water, and for the love of everything, stop falling into the consumer trap of cheap chemical treatments on your clothes. The long-term economic value clearly lies in fiber-integrated wicking technologies. The sad truth is, a lot of expensive premium brands use superficial chemical wicking treatments that literally just wash out after maybe 10 to 20 cycles in the laundry. You really want structural, fiber-based wicking that lasts the entire life of the shirt. Let's jump into Section 3, decoding cooling technologies.
When you break down cooling tech, you quickly realize why there is no universal best option out there. Contact cooling, which uses heat conduction, gives you a quick 15-minute chill. That's great for pajamas, but not much else. Now, if you're running a marathon, you absolutely need evaporative wicking. And if you're like me, spending a long day fishing out in direct, punishing sunlight, you want reflective heat-blocking ceramics actually woven into the gear to continuously bounce that radiation right away from your body.
And this brings us to some incredibly specific innovations. Take Weihai, for instance. A lot of people don't know this, but Weihai isn't just a place that makes fishing rods. It is a massive global hub for advanced outdoor textile engineering, literally supplying materials to premium Western brands. They're using insane innovations like 8C microporous technology. Compared to the older 4-channel Coolmax designs, this 8C tech uses a microporous groove section that gives you 35% faster wicking and 21% quicker drying times. It is truly next-level engineering.
All right, on to Section 4, the iCool Textile Breakthrough. To really understand why iCool is so revolutionary, we first have to understand human body heat dissipation. Even when you're just completely at rest, about 20% of your body's heat loss relies on invisible water vapor loss. But the very moment you start heavy exercise or step into a scorching hot environment, liquid sweat evaporation becomes the absolute primary dominant route for shedding excess heat. If your shirt traps that sweat, well, your body's engine just overheats.
This is exactly where iCool completely changes the game. Conventional textiles, kind of like that awful cotton shirt I wore, just act as a buffer. They just absorb sweat until they're totally soaked. But the iCool breakthrough actually integrates a highly heat-conductive copper matrix right alongside those water transport channels we talked about. So it actively pulls heat from your skin directly to the evaporation spots. This dramatically accelerates the drying process and actively decreases your skin temperature. It's an incredible dual-threat system.
And finally, Section 5, the lifespan of performance.
There is a really clear, undeniable dividing line when it comes to the longevity of these shirts. Budget UPF shirts lose their vital sun protection after just 30 washes. Honestly, by wash 50, they are barely protecting you at all. But true performance polyester shirts are engineered with durable fiber bonding. This allows them to maintain a genuine UPF 50+ rating well past 100 laundry cycles. That is literally years of reliable safety, provided you wash them correctly, of course. Always use cold water, and whatever you do, skip the fabric softeners.
You've got to keep a really close eye on the physical signs of mechanical wear and photo degradation. A shirt that's lost its elasticity, has heavy pilling, or shows blotchy, uneven fading is a downright dangerous shirt. A stretched-out, worn-out garment might be letting in twice as much UV radiation as it did when it was brand new, which means you're absorbing a massive, cumulative UV load without even realizing it.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to ask yourself a question. Are you treating your gear as a permanent wardrobe staple or as critical safety equipment that actually needs to be replaced? If your gear is degraded, take my friend Coriander's excellent advice. Stop relying on messy, wash-off sunscreens. He actually pointed me directly to those Weihai-manufactured, ultra-breathable UPF 50+ fishing shirts, which you can conveniently grab right on Dara's. It's time to upgrade your gear. Rely on the incredible textile science we've uncovered today. Stay cool, stay safe, and keep exploring.